Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie and it's been a glorious day. It's near the end of May. The weather has finally warmed up. I've actually been able to plant my tomatoes. And today I wanted to take you along, show you a little bit about what I planted and take you along while I plant something special. Now, I tend to like to grow things that are rare and unusual and different just to see if they'll grow. I try not to get too attached because when you grow rare and unusual things, sometimes they don't make it. But I wanted to show you a few of the things that I've been growing and then take you along with the new plant that I'm going to be planting because it's pretty special. So let's go show you my tomatoes. I finally got those planted. They're not rare and unusual, but I'm so happy that I planted them, I thought I'd share. So we're going to start up here with just a little project I have going. I usually grow peppers and tomatoes on my patio, but this year I wanted to see exactly what would grow in pots and how they would do. And this will be for a different video, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. I finished everything in my green stalks. They're looking gorgeous, and I'll link a video above so you can know what's in there. Sneak peek at another video. Talk about rare and unusual in Utah, not rare other places in the United States. That's for another video. And then we've got my golden berries that I didn't get a chance to plant today. These are a type of ground cherry. They're different than your regular ground cherries. And I'll link another video on top that talks a little bit about the differences between regular ground cherries and Peruvian ground cherries. These got so tall in my grown room, they started getting burned by the grow lights. So they are now outside, and I'll probably plant these tomorrow. Now my poor baby tomatoes were just like the ground cherries. They got so tall in their pots that a lot of them broke. Some of them, I don't know if they'll make it or not. And I didn't even have a chance to harden them off because their pots were so small. They were in little 4-inch pots. These tall plants were in little 4-inch pots. But we got them in the ground. We got them in the ground with the marigolds and the basil. And hopefully they'll do well. We've got some interesting ones. This is a Brad's Atomic Grape. Last year we grew the purple tomato, which is a GMO tomato, which was absolutely delightful. I loved it last year. I'm so glad I was able to grow it again this year. Got 2 of those. And then I don't know what else I have because all my labels broke and fell off. So these are just an assortment of tomatoes. Hopefully most of them are cherry. I think this is indigo kumquat, which is another one I grew last year that was absolutely delicious. So we'll see what the rest of them turn out to be. And these in here are all of my paste tomatoes, plus a few additions to kind of replace the ones that died in their pots. I think back here we have a noir. I can't pronounce them, but I'll see if I can find the names and put them on the screen because there are a couple of interesting ones. We have several sad-looking tomatoes in here. I don't know if this little guy will make it, but I have some replacements just in case he doesn't. These are Jet Stars. Hopefully we have a couple of black seamen in here, but it looks like we need to come through and water. I don't think I remembered to water these. So we'll come through and water these. My Angel Cheeks peony finally bloomed. Isn't that gorgeous? And don't you love the colors and textures with all of the other flowers that are in here? I think it's gorgeous. Front yard is doing well, but I did plant a couple of new plants up here today. These are a type of spurge. It's an Ascot rainbow. And I love how the yellow is going to pull from the drops of Jupiter oregano. And then the purple on the tips, there's some purple on the tips. It's going to capture the colors of the sedums in here. They're very, very drought tolerant, and I think they will go well in that spot. Now when you look at this petunia right here, it looks like just a petunia, a little white petunia, but it is very much not a little white petunia. I actually spent $50 on this little annual petunia, and let me show you why. This right here is the tag for that petunia. We have a GMO glowing petunia. So it was crossed with mushrooms, I think, bioluminescent mushrooms. And as long as it's very healthy and has been in full sun, it glows in the dark. Now I'm going to see if I can get permission from a friend of mine who took pictures of his over at Olson's greenhouse and see if I can share those pictures. If I can't share those pictures, I'll see if I can come out in the middle of the night and see if we can get a picture of it glowing. So now we're up where we're going to plant this really new special plant. It is a Utah native potato. It was used by indigenous people for thousands of years, and this is it. I have a friend who gave me some of the seed potatoes. It's called Solanum jamseii, and it seems like it was mostly used in the Escalante area of Utah, which is down near Bears Ears. It's also called the Four Corners potato, but let me show you what it looks like up close. So this is what they look like. They're very, very tiny. Oops, I dropped one. You have to pick that up because they're very special to me. But they grow native, like I said, in southern Utah. And there's not a ton of information on growing them. But from what I've heard, they can last up to 10 years refrigerated. They're very, very high in protein, calcium, and iron, and they're very healthy for you. And they're a wild potato, so they have a different growth habit. Now, I did find a good video that I'll link up above here from another gentleman who grows them in southern Utah, and he had a ton of really interesting information and research that he linked down in the bottom of his video, and I will copy that information and link it at the bottom of my video also. Now, from what he said and from what I saw in his video, these really should be planted in a pot, especially if they're in an area that is like their native area, because he calls them a wild potato that actually got away from him a little bit. They grow on runners that seem to sink their roots down in the ground away from the plant, and that's where the little potatoes will form. So they don't form like regular potatoes down around the base of the plant. They form off of the runners. So it can go pretty far and wide if it likes the area. So he said the best way to plant them is in pots, and that's what I'm going to do today. Let me show you where we're going to plant these. Now I have 6 different pots around this size that I put in between all my garden beds, and they are actually attached to my automatic drip irrigation system. So I have drip irrigation in here, just the small 1/4 inch. It's covered with straw. If I need to hand water these, I can hand water them too, but my drip irrigation goes off 3 times a week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these little potatoes in this pot. According to the video that I linked up above, this gentleman said that in a 2-gallon pot, you should only put 2. 10-gallon can have 5. And this is a 25-gallon, so I will put all of these, and I have, let me count them, I have about 15. So I don't know if it's going to be too many, but we're going to try it and see. And, well, actually, maybe I'll just plant 10 in here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's get planting. Now this pot has my regular garden soil mix, which is cocoa coir, compost, and then I think I put worm castings in here and some fertilizer. Now these kind of potatoes don't need a ton of fertilizer, so I'm not going to add anything extra. And then all you do is you just take them and bury them about 1 inch deep, and they should do well. Let's try it and see. So I'm first going to choose the biggest ones. This is what they look like. And plant them around the outside of the pot. Let me take the straw off a little bit here so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to plant them about 1 foot apart. Now I'm going to plant probably 3 in the center. Cover them all up. Mulch them with the straw. In a little bit I'll water them in, and then we'll see how they do. Now another rare plant that I grow is this Chinese mountain yam. These look almost exactly like the Four Corners potato, except for these don't form underground. There is a tuber that forms underground. I've dug down 2 feet and still have yet to find those little tubers. Actually, they're probably giant by now. These are 4 years old. But on this will flower midsummer, and then it forms little bulbules along the vine. And that is what I have eaten in the past off of this, and they are delicious. And they look an awful lot like the Four Corners potato. So it'll be interesting to see what the difference is in flavor and taste. And I'll link another video up above which shows what these look like when they're flowering and also when I harvested them. So that is it. Another planting project is done. I am really excited about that, and I'm excited to take you along to see how they do. And I would love to hear if you grow any rare and unusual things for your area, and what are your favorite things to grow. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends.